Warning: this podcast may contain graphic violence, sexual themes, and bad language. If our language offends you, we apologize, but we do not give a fuck. Be mindful of your kids listening.
The Evil Never Dies podcast.
This is the Evil Never Dies podcast. I'm your host, Brett, here with my sidekick, Carl Todd.
Hello there, Brett.
What's going on, man?
We are doing a midnight episode tonight.
Yeah, it is almost midnight, ain't it?
It's been a really weird weekend.
Yep. It's been
I
sort
almost
of crazy.
killed myself Friday night. I fell in the middle of Random Mill Road in front of between what's it called now? Choctaw Stadium and Globe Life Park.
The old ballpark and the new ballpark.
Yeah. One of the grandkids was trying to run across the road, and I tried to catch her, and I landed in the middle of the street. And I really thought, when I fell at the haunted house, it was a big laugh because I had this big thing fucking bubble on my head and a black eye. This wasn't funny. This was serious. I thought I'd really hurt myself.
Yeah.
So it's been sort of a downer day, but I'm okay. I'm okay.
Couldn't help me unload a truckload of wood. And
I had my brace on. I have a carpal tunnel brace because, I've been on a computer for 30 years. So I literally have carpal tunnel in my right hand. It doesn't usually flare up, but sometimes when I play video games, it does. So I've got this brace, and I put it on today, and the, I don't know if you can see it, the palm of my hand was all swelled up. See that?
It's all scratched up. Looks bruised, dude.
Yeah, it was bruised, and that brace helped a lot. My knee is scraped up bad. My right knee, my left knee's got like a big bump on it, and it's starting to turn purple, the whole knee. So this wasn't a fun fall. This was kind of one of those, yeah.
Lucky you caught yourself and you still got teeth.
Yeah. But you know me, the first thing I fell down is my pant leg is all, I totally scraped my blue jeans. They were both knees, but I was worried about my brand new Texas Rangers Peagle shirt.
Oh.
A Peagle is a panther and an eagle wing with eagle wings. Yeah. And I was like, I hope I don't get blood on my Peagle shirt. So that was my big
So thought. You were bleeding?
Dude, I was bleeding bad. It was it was bad.
Did anybody stop to help or anything?
Not a motherfucker. And there was an Arlington cop standing there just looking. Oh, and no, I had not drank a drop. Well, actually, I lied. Jerry made me do a Fireball shot, but that's like drinking water. It's not
before you went
at the park.
Oh, okay.
But that's not even drinking. So no, I was trying to catch little Madeline, and she took off, and I took off after her, and she fell on top of me. Luckily, she was not hurt, but that was a scary deal. I haven't actually not honestly scaredly hurt myself in years, even at Moxley, when I've really, really fucked myself up. That one actually scared me last night or Friday night.
How old is she?
It was. She's 6 or 7.
So the same age as Scarlett then about, huh?
They're about, yeah, I think Scarlett might be a little older, but it was a scary night, dude. I'll tell you, I really was. It kind of put the fear in me because I thought my hand might have been broken. I didn't know what to expect out of my knee because I couldn't walk, but it's because it was all bleeding and the blood and the blue jeans are all like intermingled. It's really gross. So it looked like my knee looks like it should be out of Chainsaw 2, our show from last week.
Oh,
so
geez.
Anyway, that was my weekend. And then before I know it, like it's midnight and we're about to record our show.
Yep. And you're drinking and I'm not. I'm non-officially sponsored by Powerade Zero.
I am officially sponsored by Goldschlager still. The stuff's
But
great. It tastes good and it doesn't get me drunk.
I'm gonna have
I
to
think that's a
taste it.
win.
I don't think I've ever tasted it before. So
It's like eating a hot tamale candy, really,
really, okay.
or drinking. I guess you can't eat liquid. You have to drink liquid.
I'll try a shot of
Hey,
it. But
what happened to my skeleton light? It went off. These lights have been on for a few hours. I've been
well,
I had everything set up waiting.
speaking of the truckload of wood and fence
Yeah,
panels,
that I couldn't
I need to
unload.
give a shout out to my ex-wife for giving me her old stuff that we replaced from what we replaced last weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Tracy. That is gonna help us a lot.
So thanks, Tracy. We appreciate it. Yeah, that should tide us over for the year.
It really ought to. We're just gonna get those landscape posts and maybe some 2x4s, and we're ready to go. www.countkarabi.com. I don't think I said that right. www.countkarabi.com. If you can't spell Karabi, just look up John Karabi, formerly of Motley Crue. That's his last name. And I told John Karabi once that I named my haunted house after him, and he looked like I was an idiot. And then I told him I named my vampire after him, and he really looked like I was an idiot. And then I said something about Nikki Six. He said, "Fuck Nikki." So
And
I'm with you.
I wanted to
Fuck
give
Nikki. So shout out to John Karabi, one of the best dudes I've ever met in the rock and roll business. Honestly, he really was. Even though he didn't give a fuck about my count or my haunted house.
and I wanted to give another shout out to Stasia. She's the cool security guard at the Dallas Auto Auction where I am at daily,
Yeah.
sometimes twice a day. I'll be waiting in line. Sometimes I got to wait in line for like 20, 30 minutes to get out of the place, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm jamming tunes on the radio, and she's always dancing to my music and
Good
giving up the
deal.
devil horns. And yeah, she's a cool chick. So
Well, that's awesome.
shout out to Stasia. I don't know if she's listening to this or not, but I gave her a business card too. So this
Who
was
do I have a shout? I'll have a shout out to Jimbo for always putting stuff together and being a cool dude in general. So shout
yeah.
out Jimbo. You're very appreciated, even though you like to bust our
Yeah.
booties sometimes.
He's a
We
ball
deserve it.
buster, ain't he? A ball buster.
We deserve it. I'm grumpy and you're Brett.
Here's to you, Jimbo.
Yeah, fucking flip that ladder. We can cuss on this show too. We do real talk with the guys from Tragedy of Cinema and some other people, and we have to be clean on that show.
It's a family friendly show.
It's more family friendly. We're not family friendly here. I mean, look, I got skeletons all over the place. I got the cut off head of whatever the hell that thing's name is there. And we are fully embracing the YouTube experience. Our YouTube hits have been going up a lot here. So
Yeah,
I'm
we
excited
appreciate
about that.
everybody watching for sure.
Mhm.
And Tracy said she subscribed to the channel too. So thanks for that too, Trace. Tracy
Yeah.
Sue.
I'm really happy with
she's
the
gonna
YouTube
fucking hate
getting-
me for saying that.
Oh Lord. I'm really happy with our YouTube experience. I think it's gotten so much better since we started. We both got better cameras. Our lighting is good. Even though we're still in that little postage box when you watch it, but oh well.
Gonna have to figure something out
Eric
about
Bischoff, the wrestling promoter, on their podcast, whenever one of them talk, it flips to them and the whole screen, and then it goes back to the small screen. And when one of them talk, it flips to the other guy.
I think that would be annoying.
I don't know.
Watching it, I think.
Well, we talk over each other, so I don't know.
Yeah, it would be flip-a-rooney there.
Flip that ladder for Jimbo. Flick it, not flip it.
One more. Oh.
Anyway, this week we're actually going to do an album review, which is normally the midweek, which I think I've done 4 album reviews and Brett's done about what, 50?
I don't know, something like that. for sure.
But
50 or
we're gonna
60 of 'em.
do for the regular episode this week, we're gonna do a Black Sabbath album, and it's the album Heaven and Hell, which was the 9th album released by Black Sabbath, and it is known for the fact it was the first without Ozzy Osbourne, who was fired from the band and gone at this point, and replaced by the legendary, and I'm wearing his shirt because I could not find my Black Sabbath shirt, Ronnie James Dio.
Yes.
And this is a classic album. So I think
Classic.
we'll get a lot out of doing an album review together, as opposed to what we usually do these apart. I think you joined me on Creatures of the Night, the Kiss album.
Yep.
That was sort of my show. This is going to be more of a
We've
Brett
done
show.
Priest albums before.
We've done a few Priest albums.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let Brett take the lead on this, and I'll just jump in when needed. So here's the star of the show, Bubba Brett.
Don't start it with the star of the show.
I'm Johnny
bullshit
Carson in your ass. Does anybody
All
know
right.
who Johnny Carson is anymore?
I don't know. Probably a lot of people nowadays don't.
They barely know Leno, probably now.
All right. Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. Like you said, it's the 9th studio album. Released on April 18th of 1980. It was recorded from October of 1979 to January of 1980. Studio was Criteria in Miami, Florida. And I think it was mixed and mastered at Ferber in Paris, France.
Thurber?
Ferber, Ferber. I guess that's
Thurber,
Ferbay.
Texas.
I don't know.
Somewhere it was mixed.
Genre, of course, is heavy metal.
Which the last two Black Sabbath albums were really not heavy metal, probably.
Yeah.
You reviewed what was it, Technical Ecstasy, did you not?
Yeah,
That's not, you didn't like that album, if I remember correctly.
That's probably one of the only off reviews I've gave, I think. But length 39 minutes and 46 seconds, and boy, is there a lot of stuff packed in that little amount of time.
That there is.
Label Vertigo Records, and it was produced by famous producer Martin Birch, who also produced Maiden's albums, Iron Maiden. All right. Who should we go over?
Now, just a note in, if anybody's been listening to us since day one, which on YouTube, it's not there. We actually covered Ronnie James Dio in like episodes 2 and 3, and we had no clue what we were doing, and they were not done well. So we sort of vowed to kind of honor Ronnie's memory and go back and redo a lot of his albums. And this is the beginning of that. And it's also covering a Black Sabbath album. So we're kind of covering
two birds with one stone.
Exactly. You said it better than me because it's midnight and I can't put my words together.
Now, this was their most highest charting album since 75, Sabotage, which I've also done an episode on.
Yeah, you're doing good with the Sabbath albums. I got to get to work on my Kiss albums, don't I? I'm behind.
The album cover.
Great album cover.
Very unique, but it's also, I guess, pretty famous.
It is a famous like painting, is it not?
Yes. Entitled Smoking Angels by Lynn Curley from 1928. From a 1928 photograph of women dressed as angels smoking backstage during a break at a college pageant.
Interesting.
Album's back cover illustration is caricatures of the band drawn by Harry Carmian.
Very good album cover, and the back is also, I almost like the back better than the front.
That was
Black Sabbath with Ronnie for the first time.
Let's see here. Let's go over the charts and stuff here.
How'd this thing do?
US Billboard got up to 28. Billboard
amazing.
200. Yeah.
Because Sabbath was this is whenever they had fallen. They used to call them dinosaur bands, I think, back then, and
Yep.
they
Anybody
pretty
in
much came back from the dead or from extinction with this album. And of course, I'm not old enough to have been there when it was released, but I don't know if it was Ronnie joining the band or just Ozzy leaving the band or a mixture of both that got the attention that it did. Or was it possibly the first single? I don't know why this album did so well back then. Now, I mean,
Yeah.
it's classic, but in
Yeah.
1980, I mean, I don't know what the deal was that made this actually as popular as it was on the charts.
I think it was a combination of things. I think it was Ronnie's voice with their playing.
Their sound, yeah.
Yeah.
Or the more classic Sabbath sound, maybe. Zach Wilde has a lot of commentary on this, and we'll get to that at the end of the episode. I thought he had some good input. And Zach has a right to have input because he's been a part of the whole Sabbath Ozzy family for a long fucking time. So I actually take Zach's words to bait him.
And it actually hit 9 in the UK.
Which is not surprising. I think Sabbath was always probably bigger in England, were they not?
Yeah. All right.
So it was a big debut. It was a big hit.
Didn't win no awards or anything, but you know, what are you gonna say? They just lost Ozzy, new singer. Nobody knew what was really gonna go on.
Yeah, and again, being that I'm younger than I wasn't in metal in 1980. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Rainbow actually seemed to get more popular once Ronnie left. They had bigger hits on the radio. So I don't know what impact that Ronnie had leaving Rainbow. I mean, it was always sort of a mystery to me how this came about.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Rainbow was popular, but I didn't think they were as popular as they would later become. Or am I wrong on that? You would know more than me.
What's that now? What'd you say?
Well, how popular was Rainbow when Ronnie was there back then?
Very popular.
Okay,
Very popular.
see, growing up when I did, Rainbow was a forgotten thought at that stage.
Yeah, the whole Man on the Silver Mountain and all that. Yeah, that was.
I mean, to me, it's just a flashback.
That was
but I
always
didn't
on the
know
radio back
then.
then.
Yeah,
Always on the radio.
So they were more popular than I gave them credit for, I guess. And I'm not dishing Rainbow at all. I wasn't alive. I was alive, but I wasn't listening to Rainbow in 1978. So
now I don't know if we covered this in the other episodes we did on Dio, but do you know how Tony and Ronnie got together? Have you
weren't
heard
they
that
in a
story?
bar? Maybe the Rainbow?
Well, Sharon Osbourne, or Arden at the time,
Sharon
actually
Arden
introduced them together. Introduced them.
I want to think they were at the Rainbow when they first met.
Yep.
Or am I totally fucked on that?
Yep. Met at the Rainbow.
I was just going off of memory. I don't know what we covered in those Dio episodes, honestly.
And I think that was in the Ronnie documentary too that we've seen.
I think it's a pretty classic story at this stage that they met at the Rainbow. Or I don't know if they met there. That's where they first got together and started talking.
Talking music, yeah. And
I don't think they were planning on doing a Black Sabbath album at the time. I think they were wanting to start a whole new band up.
Yep.
Because I know Geezer Butler had either quit or was going to quit. And Bill Ward was sort of lost without Ozzy. Ozzy was his buddy. And I don't think he was happy that Ozzy left. I think they actually made Bill Ward fire Ozzy.
I think so, man.
That was his buddy. And Bill Ward was also battling a lot of demons. He was alcohol, drugs, and he had a lot of issues. And again, losing his buddy that was in, I think Geezer and Iommi were more ran the band, and Ozzy and Bill Ward were sort of left behind. Sort of a Gene and Paul situation.
Because Bill Ward said he was fun. He liked Ozzy because he was fun. I bet he was.
Shit, fun. I bet Ozzy was fun.
That's funny.
I mean, I love Ronnie James Dio to death, but who would be more fun, Ronnie or Ozzy? Probably Ozzy.
Yep.
He like
Yep.
sniffs ants up, and shit. He literally shits himself and then take off his pants and throw them at you. Ozzy would have been fun. I see that.
Did you know
But
they
at this
actually recorded uh a version of Children of the Sea with Ozzy?
with Ozzy, yes.
Yep.
That's never surfaced to my knowledge.
No, that would be interesting. It's totally different music and stuff, I guess, and stuff for it. So, yeah.
Well, at the point they were at, they were not going to call this Black Sabbath, which I think every album after Ozzy, they had no interest in calling it Black Sabbath, but were forced by record labels, or so they say.
Yeah.
I don't know how much truth there is into that. I think Iommi wanted to call a lot of this project's Black Sabbath just for the marketing, but that's just my theory. Tony says that's not, that it was record labels. I don't know. I don't know how much power the labels had over that stuff. I do know for a fact that when Motley Crue changed to John Corabi, they did want to change the name of the band, and Elektra Records said, no, you are Motley Crue. We don't give a fuck. And both Nikki and Tommy fought that hard, and they lost. So Tony might be telling the truth. I don't know. Somewhere along the line, Jeff Nichols came into the picture.
Yep.
Who would be he would actually going to be the bass player that replaced Geezer and would later become their longtime keyboard player on tour and album.
Yep. Well, we basically went over the whole band lineup, so I guess I won't go there.
Ronnie James Dio vocals,
Tony
Geezer
Iommi
Butler
guitar,
bass, Iommi on the God himself guitar, and Bill Ward on the drums,
and Jeff Nichols on keyboard.
Jeff Nichols on keyboard, and I think a few of his bass lines might still be on there. I'm speculating at this point.
Like I said, it was produced and engineered by Martin Birch. J.C. Foglia was assistant engineer. It was remastered by Don Hirsch in 2008. Because we'll go over that. They've reissued this and
several
bonuses,
times.
and they actually just did another one not too long ago. So we'll get into that later. And went through a bunch of different labels too along the way too. So being from both the UK and the US, who was distributing it. So
okay.
All right. Well, you want to go over the track list?
We can do that. So track 1 would be Neon Nights. You're gonna have to tell me the length. I'm just
3 minutes and 53 seconds.
And that was the first single.
Yep. Hard hitting right off the bat, boy.
It was very hard hitting. And after Technical Ecstasy, this is kind of a sign that, hey, Black Sabbath is back to doing heavy metal. This is not experiment. This is just flat out pure rock and roll metal. Yep. It's a good song. Like it a lot.
Me too.
Good song. Track 2 would be Children of the Sea.
That's 5 minutes and 34 seconds. And another good song.
Yeah, very, very Sabbathy song to me.
Yep. Very haunting, sort of, especially with Ronnie's voice.
I was gonna say, could you picture Ozzy singing?
No, I could not see Ozzy singing any of these songs.
That's part of what Zach brings up later.
I couldn't.
The third track is Lady Evil.
4 minutes and 26 seconds, and that's probably my least favorite song on the album.
It's sort of a silly song now.
Yeah.
But I guess back then it might not have been. But I mean, I still listen to the song, but it's got an aura of silliness.
Oh, it's still a good song. That bass line, man, that you don't hear nothing. You don't hear nothing like that anywhere else, man. Geezer does a good job.
Lyrically, it's silly. We'll put it that way. The song's not silly, but it's some pretty silly Dio lyrics. And Chatterbox just came in on that one, and he's still wearing bunny ears over there. Chatterbox is. He still thinks it's. You can almost see Chatterbox on the video.
Yeah,
he's right there if you're watching. You can see his lips moving. You have to zoom in real close on our postage stamp video. So track 4, which would be the final side of A, would be Heaven and Hell, the song,
The title track.
the title track.
And that is 6 minutes and 59 seconds. And it's a classic.
I would say Heaven and Hell would probably be, if not my top 10, my top 15 songs of all time.
I'd have to say the same, man.
And it's been covered by a lot of bands, but the best cover version of it is from Stryper, of all people. They tore that song up. So Ronnie always played this song with the Dio band, and sometimes it was a little shorter. With Sabbath, he would usually play it a little longer, but it was always, he just put that creepy factor in Heaven and Hell.
Yeah.
Great live song, great song. It is a classic.
And sometimes he'd
could
do
never
like that.
see
He'd like
Ozzy.
do a menagerie of like
He
3 or
would. He
4
would.
songs together.
I could never see Ozzy sing a song like Heaven and Hell. It's just not in his voice.
No. Ronnie definitely made it evil.
So yeah, it was an evil song. I'd like to analyze the lyrics of that song. I've never really understood what the hell they're talking about, or what Ronnie was talking about, because he wrote all the lyrics for the album. In the past, Geezer wrote the lyrics when Ozzy was in the band, but Ronnie took over the writing, the lyric writing. And Heaven and Hell is a weird song trying to analyze it.
Yeah.
Sing me a song, you're a dreamer.
Thought it was Sing Me a Song, You're a Singer.
You're a bringer of evil. I'm just fucking with you, Bubba. So we flip if we have vinyl here, not CD, we would go to the song Wishing Well.
Yep. Track 5, side B.
How long is that?
4 minutes and 7 seconds.
That is the song I'm least familiar with. I don't think I play this song very often.
It's a good song, man. It's a very good song.
It would be the least played song of the album for me. Lady Evil actually would outrank this for me, I think.
Okay, all right.
Then we
I'm
would
probably
have
the opposite on that. So
yeah, it could go either way. Next is Die Young.
Die Young is 4 minutes and 45 seconds.
This might be the heaviest song that Black Sabbath had done to the date. They would do heavier songs in the future, but this song is heavy, heavy, heavy shit.
Yep.
And Dio would always throw the devil horns up when he would do the Die Young part of the song, the Die Young, Die Young, Die Young. That's what I remember the most about the song is Ronnie singing it live.
And Machine Head does a instrumental version of it.
You know, Machine Head actually opened with Megadeth for Heaven and Hell on tour when Ronnie and the guys got back together.
Oh, cool.
It was a good show. Die Young, then Walk Away. Is that number 7?
Yep, Walk Away.
Gotta know this album, don't I? I actually know an album from start to finish.
That's 4 minutes and 25 seconds.
What do you think of this song?
I like every song on this whole album.
Yeah.
You know, they're all good. I've listened to them so many times. They don't get old to me.
They don't get old at all. Like I said, the Lady Evil might be a little dated. Other than that, these songs don't get old at all.
Yeah.
And lyrically, that Lady Evil is just sort of silly.
Yeah.
So then we're at track 8, which is the last song, which was Lonely is the Word.
5 minutes and 51 seconds. It's sort of almost like a ballad, sort of.
Kind of blues, more of a bluesy song.
Yeah. Very bluesy. Good song still, though. Like I said,
Iommi kills on this song. Absolutely.
Yeah. Very good guitar.
It is. It's very good. So that's our track. It's 8 songs, about 40 minutes long. And like you said, it packs a lot in those 40 minutes.
Yeah. And they came out with a 2010 deluxe edition with a bunch of live stuff and some edits. I guess there was a 7-inch remember the 7-inch vinyls they
I
used to
remember
have?
7-inch vinyl. I had a few of those.
Well, they had one of them of Lady Evil,
Hmm.
and it wasn't even in stereo.
Oh, wow.
It was in
Mono?
mono. Yeah.
Kiss has released a few mono versions of their songs. I'm kind of like, what's the point? I guess just to give people something different to listen to.
And all them songs that were on that bonus disc.
Hold on, I gotta plug in my camera. Its battery's running low. There we
Uh-oh.
go. It was at
Nice
20%.
scraped up hand there.
Did you see it? Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, all them live songs were recorded in Hartford, Connecticut
Okay.
on that tour, on the Heaven and Hell tour. And then in 2021, they released a deluxe
Oh,
edition
now the camera's falling.
that
Technical
has
difficulties.
all the bonus tracks off the other one. And
I think that's the one I actually bought.
it's a bunch of other live ones too that they recorded after, actually on the Mob Rules tour. There's like 5 songs on there.
They also put out a box set years later called Black Sabbath, the Dio Years, and all these albums were in there, but I don't know which versions, which remixes.
Okay.
I remember that there was a box set because they actually wrote
Yeah, I remember that
3
too.
new songs, which is what led to the Heaven and Hell tour. So this was the name of an album, but it would later become the name of the Dio-led Black Sabbath. And the reason behind that, and don't listen to all the rumors, it was literally because Ozzy was still in Black Sabbath, but he was touring solo, and Iommi didn't want to confuse people, so he just called that version of the band Heaven and Hell, which sort of didn't sit well with Ronnie, because Ronnie would never say we're Heaven and Hell. He would just say, yeah, well, everybody knows we're Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
So this became a band once upon, eventually.
Yes,
Which brings me to this. Do you think they should have kept the Black Sabbath name, or should they have changed the name of the band once Ronnie joined? Because at the time, Geezer was out of the band. What is your vote? Looking back, not back in 1980, but now in 2023.
I don't know, just because it was Black Sabbath, I would stick with that. Yeah, I would stick with Sabbath.
I'm thinking now that I look back,
because other bands of people's left and they ain't changed the name, so
well, it's hard to look back now knowing that Sabbath would end up having 5 singers total, maybe 6 or 7 that weren't even official.
yeah.
I almost think that it might have been better if they would have changed the name to Heaven and Hell. I mean, you got to look at it this way. Once you change the name, are you a headliner anymore? Having Dio and Iommi, probably, but I mean, they were a headliner when they became Heaven and Hell later. Everybody knew who that was.
Yeah.
So good debate. I mean, name change or not. I mean, I've always been an Iommi supporter through all of the Black Sabbath albums with Tony Martin and the other singers. So I've always supported the brand without Ozzy. So it's sort of hard for me to say not, but it's a good debate.
Yeah.
It's a good debate.
All right. Want to go over the tour a little bit? What do you know about the tour, Carl?
I know they played with Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
I think it was called the Black and Blue Tour, was it not?
Yes, it was. And there was a concert film made on that. Have you ever seen that?
No, I have not. Where the hell is it?
You can watch it on YouTube. I think there's, I don't think the whole movie's on there, because we used to go see it. They would play it at the midnight movie back in the day.
I
Like
figured it'd be on
like
Tubi
81, 82, around in there. And
was that a co-headline, or was
I think so, because looking at it, sometimes it's Black Sabbath first and sometimes it's Blue Oyster Cult first.
Because that was sort of Blue Oyster Cult at their height, was it not, around 1980?
Yep. I think that was the Burning for You or whatever it was.
And Sabbath were sort of on a downswing since they'd lost Ozzy or fired Ozzy, I guess. I mean, they put out some pretty crappy albums, in my opinion, before Ozzy was gone. So
Yeah, but it was an evil looking tour, dude, when Sabbath was playing, dude.
I bet.
With the crosses, tilted crosses on the stage, and
Now, you said before we started recording, you almost went to the tour in St. Louis at the
yes,
Checkerdome.
yeah, at the Checkerdome, and couldn't get a ride. Couldn't get a ride
Only
down
know
there.
about the Checkerdome for my pro wrestling days. When
Oh,
you
yeah.
said Checkerdome, I knew exactly where it was.
Yep, it's no longer around.
No, it was a big wrestling venue.
Well, they had other stuff there too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I knew it from the wrestling. That's
The-
why I knew the name real
The
good.
St. Louis Cardinals football team, I think, played in there. I
I don't
think.
know.
Huh? Huh?
A football team in an arena? I think you're smoking.
I don't know.
You're
Checker
smoking
Dome.
cigarettes.
It wasn't a arena really. It was, I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody from St. Louis will have to answer that.
I've been down
So,
there a million times and I don't even know what the hell it is, but
So Jeff Nichols was on tour as the keyboardist, but I think he was off stage. And
yeah, they didn't have
honestly,
him on stage. I never during that movie you never see no keyboard player.
how many
Sure.
songs did Sabbath have at this point that even required a keyboard?
I don't know.
I don't either. I don't know what he did. I guess he just played sort of rhythm more.
Well, the beginning, what song is it?
I don't know. I'm confusing Mob Rules because it had that keyboard intro.
The E5150 or
Yeah,
whatever.
that was on Mob Rules. It wasn't on Heaven and Hell.
Is there keyboards on Neon Nights?
Not to my knowledge. If they are, they're hidden in there.
That's true.
I don't know what Jeff Nichols played on that album, honestly. I mean, Paranoid and Black Sabbath and Iron Man, there's no keyboards in that shit.
No.
Paranoid, now the War Pigs, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Sweet Leaf, there's no keyboards in any of those songs. So I don't really know what Jeff Nichols was doing on stage.
Maybe there's some in Lonely is the Word,
Maybe so.
because that's sort of a mellower song, really, you know.
I don't know. I sort of think they might have felt bad because they hired him to play bass and then they got Geezer back. So they're kind of like, well, dude, you can just stay around and play keyboards.
On one song.
I guess. I don't know. But he went on tour with them, but he was off
Yeah.
stage.
Maybe it was in his contract. I don't know.
Dude, I don't know.
But
I do know that
it would have been a cool show to see live. I know that.
I know Iommi said that a lot of the audience was not happy that Ozzy wasn't there.
Yep.
And there were banners and there was a lot of
Shouting Ozzy,
shouting
chanting
out Ozzy's
Ozzy
name.
Yep.
But I think Ronnie won everybody over in the end.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did big time.
Yeah. He did big time.
That's one thing about Ronnie's stage presence. It's part of none, you know.
It's hard to compare Ozzy Osbourne to Ronnie James Dio because Ronnie James Dio was a singer. Ozzy was a frontman.
Yeah.
And Ozzy could, I'm not saying Ronnie couldn't work a crowd. I'm not going to be D. Snyder here because D got into trouble because he said that Ronnie wasn't a good frontman. He was a better singer. I wouldn't go that far, but Ozzy is by far a better frontman.
Yeah.
And sometimes the
more energetic and stuff.
The more energetic frontmen, David Lee Roth, example, aren't the best singers, but they are great running a crowd. So, I mean, Ronnie could definitely work a crowd, but did he have that Ozzy stage presence?
No.
Not really. Voice, by far better than Ozzy.
Other than the doing the devil horns, you know, that was his big thing or whatever, you know.
So they did a couple. They were in Europe first on the tour. Then they went to North America with the whole Black and Blue thing. And I think Sammy Hagar played support on a couple of these shows. Like, you know, opening act.
Was that Sammy's first album, I wonder?
It might have been. I'm looking now.
Maybe it was
Actually
Red.
cheating. It
think it
was
was the-
Sammy Hagar, Saxon, Riot, and Molly Hatchet were some of the opening bands.
I think that was the Red album of Sammy
It
Hagar's.
probably was. So he left Montrose at that time.
Yeah.
Now, somewhere along the line, Bill Ward quit.
Yeah, he
Alcohol
did.
had become more important than Black Sabbath, is his exact words. And I guess he called Ronnie and said, I'm leaving. He's like, oh, well, I'll see you tomorrow. No, dude, I'm leaving. I'm getting on a plane and I'm leaving. And he was gone. He quit. Actually, let's see.
Is that when they got Vinny?
They got Vinny. Cozy Powell, who played with Ronnie and Rainbow, was their first choice. And he would later join Black Sabbath in the late 80s and 90s, but I guess he turned him down. So Vinny Appice came in and played his show actually in Hawaii. And I'm reading this. I don't know this. I'm being honest. It was on August 31st, 1980, and in Honolulu that the great Vinny Appice joined Black Sabbath.
Yep, Bill Ward couldn't hack it anymore, man.
No. And he missed Ozzy. That was his buddy.
Yeah, he was done. He
That was
was
sort
done.
of like that was like me at Moxley after you left. It was just like, where's Brett? Where's Brett?
Oh shit. That's
Where can
funny.
it? Why can't I? Oh shit! I can't blame this on Brett. I'm gonna have to tell Richard I fucked it up. God dang.
Oh, that's funny.
We're like Ozzy and Bill Ward here, I guess. You know. Richard was Iommi, definitely. The loyal to the end guy. It was his brand anyway, so.
Oh shit. I got the Moxley shirt on too. So
I see that. And somewhere along the line, there was a riot in Milwaukee, and I have no details, but I remember there was a riot in Milwaukee. You know anything about it?
no, I didn't see that.
I don't know what happened, but there was a riot in Milwaukee. They got pissed.
That's
Let's
crazy.
see here. Oh, somebody threw a bottle at Geezer Butler and hit him in the head and knocked him out. The show
Oh,
was stopped and Butler was taken to the hospital where he received stitches. Dio came back on and told the audience what happened and told off whoever threw the bottle. So the show was canceled.
yeah, I remember that. He come out and said, thanks to that guy, you don't get to see Black Sabbath tonight.
Well, everybody shits on Axl Rose for causing a riot in St. Louis, but apparently Geezer got one started in Milwaukee because he got knocked out with a bottle.
Yeah.
The nerve.
I vaguely remember that happening. Yeah.
So there was the concert video called Black and Blue you mentioned.
Yeah, that's I suggest looking that up. It's
I'm looking it up right now.
it's actually pretty good video too for back then.
I'm up close to the camera because I don't have my contacts in. It was released on VHS, Betamax, and Laserdisc, but never officially released on DVD. So some are unofficially. It's
That
on
was
eBay,
way
I bet
before
you.
DVDs were even thought
Yeah,
of.
but they re-released most of the earlier stuff that was on VHS, even if they just dubbed the videotape over. But this did not happen. But I bet I can find it on eBay, folks. We're gonna look that up
Probably.
in a minute.
Maybe on
How can
Blu-ray.
you go wrong, man? Black Sabbath and Blue Oyster Cult? That's some cool shit right there.
Oh, it was cool, man. They would play a couple of songs from Sabbath, and then they'd play some songs from Blue Oyster Cult. They'd go back and forth. It was sort of cool.
Cool right there, man.
And
I'm a big fan of Blue Oyster Cult.
The drummer of Blue Oyster Cult, when they did the song Godzilla, he put the Godzilla mask on and did his drum solo.
Cool.
It was like a good 5, 6, 7 minute drum solo, man.
Like I said,
Very cool.
I like Blue Oyster Cult, and they're still touring and they're still active.
Do you know what their name is? So they don't know like the they just go and like play bars
Mhm.
unannounced,
What's
and they
her
got a
name?
side name. You know what that side name is?
I don't, but I know Twisted Sister's former side name.
Soft white underbelly.
Oh God. Twisted Sister was known as Bent Brother, by the way.
I remember you. I think we covered that when we did D.
Probably did. So there is videotape on this Black and Blue tour. Check eBay, folks. You'll probably find it.
Or you
Or
can
look
watch
on
it on. You can
YouTube.
watch it on YouTube. I think it's on YouTube. It's only like an hour and 20 minutes long or something. It's not like a whole concert. Like I said, they do a couple of songs and they jump back and forth. So, but it's still cool.
So I see we have a typical set list from the tour. We'll go over that real quick. War Pigs, Neon Knights, a Geezer Butler bass solo, NIB, Lady Evil, Sweet Leaf, and then they had a drum solo from either Bill Ward or Vinny, depending on where you saw it at. Children of the Sea, Black Sabbath, the song, Heaven and Hell, Iron Man, which never fit Ronnie's voice at all.
No.
Die Young, Paranoid was the encore, and Children of the Grave was the final encore.
Man,
That
what is
leads
that?
me back to the fact Ronnie singing Ozzy songs. What is your thoughts on that? Good, bad, or indifferent?
I guess indifferent, you know. He did good for what he was trying to do with it, you know.
But he didn't have Ozzy's voice. They had
No.
different vocal ranges. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like talk about heaven and hell. I mean, Ozzy and Ronnie James Dio were just complete opposite ends of the spectrum.
Well, like we'll go back to what we said. We couldn't see Ozzy singing none of them songs. So,
No.
but dealing with what he was given, I think Ronnie actually did a decent job singing them live.
Well, let's go over Zach Wild. Now, again, Zach is definitely part of the family, and I honor his opinion a lot. And here's what Zach Wild said about the whole Dio era. He said, "You listen to Black Sabbath, Ronnie James Dio. He doesn't feel like it's actually Sabbath. They should have called it Heaven and Hell from the beginning, because when you listen to that album, it doesn't sound like Sabbath. I mean, it sounds as much as Sabbath as Blizzard of Oz sounds like Black Sabbath.
Yeah,
If you were to play it to me,
I see
and I'm
what
a
you're
huge
saying,
Sabbath
yeah.
fanatic, with Father, he calls him Father Dio over there, I'd be going, oh, that's cool, but what band is this? This is good stuff, but it doesn't sound like Sabbath. I mean, could you hear Ozzy playing Neon Nights singing that song? I just don't see it. So
No.
that is the opinion of Zach Wild.
Yeah.
So it's the whole thing, was it Sabbath or was it not? My final opinion, if Iommi is there, it was Sabbath. That's what I'm going to vote.
True. Yeah.
Iommi was Sabbath.
His brainchild.
Iommi was Sabbath. Just like Richard is Moxley Manor. There's no denying it. It's perfect, You can't have Moxley without Richard. You can't have Sabbath without Iommi, because he was been there since day one. And it's his band, by fucking God. I don't care who the singer was. Tony Martin, Ian Gillan, Glenn Hughes. It's still Sabbath.
All right.
What else you got?
I about got nothing else. We've about pretty much
We've
covered
covered the
everything.
fuck out of this. I think we're about up to an hour on this.
Probably.
It's a good thing I don't do
You
the
were saying we
midweek
were only
with
going to
you.
get 30 minutes, and here we've rambled on.
So my opinion is I like this album probably better than Mob Rules. Always have. It's one of the few albums I can play from start to finish, and I enjoy it. I did mention that Lady Evil's lyrics are a little silly, but it's okay because it's Ronnie. Would I give this a 5?
Actually, Lady Evil probably could have been on the first Dio record, and it would have fit right in.
It would have fit better on a Dio album. And I'm not downing Ronnie's lyrics on the Dio albums, but they were a little cheesy, probably very D&D like. 5 of 5. I think I got to give Heaven and Hell a 4.5 of 5, honestly. I don't know that it's a perfect album. It's a great album, but it's probably not perfect. Is it Sabbath's best album with or without Ozzy? I don't know. It's hard to beat those first two albums.
Yeah.
Those invented heavy metal.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath and Paranoid. I don't think it's better than those two albums. I'm sorry. I love Ronnie James Dio. He's one of my idols, but I got to give this a 4.5. It's not the best Sabbath album, but it's by far in the top 3. That's my opinion.
I'm going to go right there with you. I'm going to give it a 4.5.
I think that's where it goes.
I would give it a 5 other than the Lady Evil, I think, for sure.
I just don't think you can top the first two Sabbath albums because they invented heavy metal with those two fucking albums.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I mean, and I love Ronnie. I like Ronnie probably better than Ozzy. I mean, I love Ozzy too, but if I had to pick, I would pick Ronnie.
And
but those first two albums are just fucking absolute classics. And this is too, don't get me wrong, but
I'm
I don't rating it on Black Sabbath. I got to give this the 4.5. It's not the perfect.
And I don't think Bill Ward's drums were on exactly too. So
that's where Mob Rules is better because
he wasn't happy. You know,
Vinny was better. I'm gonna strive to say Vinny at this point was a way better drummer than Bill Ward. I think Bill Ward, much like Peter Criss, they were great drummers, but they didn't progress. I think they plateaued and they never went any higher. And again, that's not a knock on Peter or Bill. It's just, I think they sort of plateaued.
Just his style, you know. He hits them fucking drums hard, man, Bill Ward.
Vinny is an absolute monster on the drums. Actually, I've been listening to the Last in Line thing that Vinny and Vivian Campbell had put out. And I just think Vinny Appice is one of the best metal drummers there is. And, you know, he don't even do double bass. He said his brother Carmine they claim he invented the double bass. I don't know about that, but.
Is that the one you had to buy because they took it off your iTunes?
Yeah, then it came back on iTunes as soon as it arrived from eBay. But I'm glad. I've been reading the lyrics and stuff. So
yeah.
A shout out. This is a Ronnie mix in. They actually got the original Dio band together and did an album with a different singer, and it's good stuff. Jimmy Bain was alive for it, but unfortunately he passed away on the tour. So Last in Line, it was called Heavy Crown. We're going to give a shout out to that. It's back on iTunes, so Apple Music, so I'm sure it's on Spotify. That's my way off the line from this plug of the week right there.
We tend to do that.
We do tend to do that, but you know what? It's still in the family, man.
Yeah.
That's a big
keeping it alive.
The Sabbath family is a huge family, just like the Kiss family. The roots go a long way. And can you name the one person that's been in Kiss and in Black Sabbath? Eric Singer. That's right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Eric was in Black Sabbath, and of course he's been in Kiss for nearly 30 years or some crap.
That's right. Well, do you got anything else, Carl?
I'm done, dude. It's 12:30.
I'm done too, man.
Brett's been busy today.
Check us out on the YouTubeage.
YouTubeage is getting bigger and better and stronger, so come see us on YouTubeage.
Let's get some more people in the group too. We haven't had any new people
on YouTube.
Join.
You get to see album covers. You know what? Yep. I forgot to show the Heaven and Hell album cover. I don't even know what I did with it by this point.
A little late now.
For 3 hours.
Late now, feller. They'll see it on the show notes.
That works.
All right, everybody. We're out of here.
Like us on YouTube and join and subscribe too if you want.
Yeah. Leave us an Apple review.
That helps us a lot.
that's, that helps tremendously. So
If you're not on Facebook, we got an email address you can send us notes,
Yeah.
comments, and critiques. We take
Yeah.
critiques really well.
Evil Never Dies podcast at Evil Never Dies pod at gmail.com.
That's it.
That's it.
And Brett's getting good with these reels. We're getting a lot of hits out of that.
Yeah, for sure. So them are fun to do too. Just making them. So you
Well,
need to start
I hope
you need to start doing some.
me.
Yeah, you
I
can
gotta
do
do album reviews. I'm like 6 months behind on album reviews. Remember I swore I was gonna review every Kiss album that existed. I'm supposed to review. I've only done 4 so far, I think.
That'll
Coming
take as
soon,
long.
Crazy Nights.
That'll take as long as doing the apes with Jimbo and Kyle.
And then
all 9 movies or whatever there are 10
well,
of.
I'm supposed to do every Kiss album, and I'm doing Crazy Nights next. And a lot of people hate Crazy Nights, and it's like my favorite Kiss album. So that's going to cause controversy and chaos. Which we love.
Well, why don't you do it this week? Give me a break.
You want me to? I don't know if I'm ready because that's going to be like a huge episode.
Okay.
I might do another Kiss album this week, though. You never know.
You're more than welcome.
I could do some crappy album like Music from the Elder or Unmask.
I don't know what we're gonna do next week. I guess we'll figure that out here.
We might do I don't know. Next week's going to be we'll figure something out. We ought to throw one of those ape episodes out, maybe that you.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that.
I want to hear one of those. I haven't listened. I listened to the second one, but I missed the first one.
I'll either put out the real. I think I'm going to put out the first. I've already put the first one out, but
yeah,
do the second one, or I could do that second real talk we did. So
yeah, but every time I'm not on the show, you get complaints. Where am I at? I'm very.
Everybody
popular.
loves you. Everybody loves you, Carl.
I was about to quit the show tonight because you wouldn't let me in the chat. The funny thing is, Jimbo takes that serious. He's like, I think you're mad. I'm like, me and Brett always do this to each other. It's just part of our existence.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
The only time, like I've said, only time I ever really got mad at you is when you let the wall fall on me. And I got sad when you quit the haunted house during COVID, but I was abandoned. I felt abandoned.
Oh, shit.
If I had it to do over, I probably would have quit during COVID too, honestly. But I made it. And I didn't even get the damn shirt. There was a fucking Moxley shirt that said I survived COVID and I didn't even get it.
Oh.
Yeah, Richard, you didn't give me that shirt. I don't know why I didn't get it. I think because I didn't go to the...
I had no choice, or I wouldn't be able to see my grandbaby, so that wasn't going to happen. So
that's only 2 times I've been legit. I wasn't mad at you that time. I was just disappointed. But when you let the wall fall on me, I was mad.
Sorry,
I think I got mad when you hit me in the head that time, the backyard.
That probably popped your eyes out of your head.
No, not that time. It was you hit me in the head.
Oh, with the 2x4.
Yeah.
That was a real accident, though. That was...
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't, yeah. It wasn't like falling in the street at the Texas Rangers stadium in this fucking traffic and almost getting run over and killed last night.
All right, man.
I think we've rambled on enough. It's now 1 o'clock.
We're sorry.
Everybody.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for listening. And
for the record, let's throw the devil horns out there if I can get them on camera.
Horns, throw them up.
Ronnie.
All right, guys. Stay evil, everybody.